Good afternoon. This is Greg Johnson with Bellevue University Anatomy and Physiology midterm presentation on bones and muscles. Part 1 is bones. And I've scrambled the order of which I want to prepare the bones. I hopefully have that order memorized. Let's see how it goes work. But I like to start from the top and kind of work my way around. Starting up with the frontal bone, which is obviously the front just above the eyes. Then there is the peritoneal bone, which is on the top of the head. Temporal bone is on the side, like in the area of the temple. Right then the zygomatic, which is below that, right about here. Then you have the maxilla, which is the upper portion of the jaw, and the mandible, which is saying here, hey, how you doing? The hyoid bone is a floating bone here. It's actually in the throat. It actually doesn't really connect to anything. Clavicle is right here, which is your collarbone. When you break that, that's obviously where you see people walk around with the sling they're on. Their maneuver, which is right here. It's in the upper part of the sternum. And then we're going down, we've got the humerus. Next up we have the xiphoid process. Don't push on that while having CPR. You can actually break it and stick it into their chest, but I've seen that. Right here you have the lateral. And then you have your, I believe this, I'm thinking I'm backwards here. I think this is the ulna, and this side here is the radius. Okay, and then you have the anti-superior iliac spine, and posterior is on the other side. We got I'm going to say this wrong, and I know I am. The acetabulum sitting right here for you. And now in here you have the fourth metacarpal ring, which is right here. And this is obviously the ring finger out there. And then you have your second left, which is obviously left hand, right here, your DIP. And then moving down along the body, let's move the arm out of the way here. You have the greater femoral trochanter. Thank you. I think better for myself. In between, just before we move down the leg here, you have the pubic symphysis. This is the attachment between the pelvis here. Basically, it's called pubic bone. Let's see here. Moving down, we'll go with the patella. And then the inside, you have your tibia. Your fibia is on your outside. Okay. And then you have the heel callousness, which is right here. I'm sorry, I just realized how low I was. The patella, tibia, fibia being on the outside, and callousness is the heel that you see here. And then you have the tarsal bones, which is your group of here, and then you have the melia mouse. This is actually the ball on the inside of your foot. Okay. And then you have your, back over here, left side still working with it. Your third metatarsal is obviously starting with your big toe, 1, 2, 3. And this one is right here. And then your first toe DIP is the tip of your first toe. It's a big one here. Then I like to move up the other side. Then they have the arburator foramen. I'm saying that wrong, and I know I am. Which is the opening here in the pelvis. Femoral neck, which is actually right here on our guy. Moving up, you have your thumb, which is your MCP, which is right. It's kind of tough to see right here. You have your scaphoid, which is the ball of the wrist. Okay, and then continuing to move up, you have the iliac crest, which you see right here. This is the top of the hips, basically. And then you have transverse process, which hopefully I got this one right, which is right here on our mannequin. Keep moving up, you have your jugular notch, which is there. And then the dens, I'm thinking of the wrong name here, which is the point on the number 2 cervical vertebrae. Now continuing to right here, the back of the bone, you have occipital, and the cervical, C5, is what they want us to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right here, which is your number 5th vertebrae. And then there's 2 more, 6 and 7, that continues out the cervical spine, and then you have your thoracic, which is T1, which is here, and then that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then you're down into your lumbar, and you can actually see how they change as you move forward. And lumbar, they want us to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lumbar, and then you come into your sacrum, which is right here, and then your coccyx, and I've never actually heard it said, so I'm destroying that right now. So your pelvic inlet now, this is more just of some of the other things. I think I'm missing a couple that I skipped over, but pelvic inlet is right here. This goes right through the pelvis. Your true ribs are your first 7 ribs here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then your false ribs are the next. Did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, false ribs are the remaining here below it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you have 4 floating ribs. These are the floating ribs that actually don't hook to anything. And then you have your rib tubercle, which I'll show you where that is. That's on the spine, and it's actually the connection between the rib, the rib and the spine, any different point on it. So I believe I touched on everything that you're looking for. I hope I didn't move too quick. Some more ideas, and you obviously have your scapula. You have your tarsals and your metatarsals within your feet, and obviously the phalanges within the hands. So I believe I went through a good chunk of everything. And that should be it for part 1. See you in a few minutes for part 2.